5 games to go, 5 massive games that will define the season. First up, it's Everton at home this evening at King Power Stadium, and with all the team news, here's our commentator John Dunn.
Dan, team news hot off the press. 3 changes for Leicester following the draw at Leeds last Tuesday. Kelechi Iheanacho ruled out as we knew through injury, and we also see Victor Christiansen and Tete move to the bench. Jamie Vardy in from the start after scoring on Tuesday. Also coming in, Luke Thomas and Wilfred Ndidi. Daniel Iversen in goal. The defence, Timothy Castagna, Wout Faes, Kaglar Soyuncu and Luke Thomas. In midfield is Buba Samore alongside Ndidi and Yuri Tillemans, with James Maddison, Jamie Vardy and Harvey Barnes forming the Leicester City attack. On the bench, Danny Ward, Harry Souttar, Victor Christiansen, Daniel Amati, Patson Daka, Keenan Dewsbury Hall, Papi Mendy, Dennis Pratt and Tete. There are 2 changes to the Everton 11 that were beaten at home by Fulham last Tuesday. That was 4 goals to 1. Ben Godfrey is out. Amadou Onana moves to the bench. Shane Coleman is back in. A 4-game injury absence for him is ending. And James Garner also in, as we see Jordan Pickford, the goalkeeper, a defence of Seamus Coleman, Michael Keane, James Tarkowski and Vitaly Mikalenko. In midfield it's Garner alongside Idrissi Gueye and Abdullah Doucouré, with Alex Iwobi and Dwight McNeil forming the width for Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front. On the bench for Everton, Asmir Begovic, Nathan Patterson, Amadou Onana, Damari Gray, Yerry Mina, Neil Maupay, Tom Davies, Connor Cody and Ellis Sims.
Thank you very much, John. Yes, welcome along to Matchday Live here on LCFC TV, ahead of another massive game for the Foxes this evening in the Premier League. 5 of them to go, and it all starts again this evening. Joining me, Dan Bates, in the studio today, I've got Matt Elliott and David Nugent. Good evening to you both. And on Zoom, and with a congratulations in order, Ewan Roberts also joins us this evening.
Hi Dan, how are you boys? Yeah, thank you mate. Yeah, became a tie for the first time early Saturday morning, 12 Saturday morning. So a very, very proud grandfather.
Yeah, congratulations to you.
Became a what, Ewan?
A tide.
Is that Welsh?
That's Welsh for grandfather. Mate.
Saturday morning, and you're still taking time off work on a Monday afternoon evening.
First one, mate. Come on.
It's your granddaughter, not your daughter.
Yeah, I know. They came out of hospital today.
Congratulations, mate. Nice one, mate.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Nicest thing that you've probably said to...
Well, the next grandchild I have, I'm going to have a day off as well. In fact, I've got 3, so I've got 3 days in lieu.
Good evening as well. You're obviously here with us on Tuesday for the game against Leeds, which in the end was what could be a vital point.
Yeah, it could be. I think both teams went into that game, wanting to win the game. At the end, the last 10 minutes was frantic, weren't it? Both teams had chances to win it, lose it. But it was a point gain going into this massive game against Everton, which we have to win.
There's no underestimating again the importance tonight, is there?
No, and I think that was similar against Wolves as well, wasn't it? Every game. I mean, I've heard Jamie Vardy and other players saying every game's a cup final now, which it is pretty much. Leeds, people look at it different ways. May well prove to be a valuable point. Dean Smith himself has said he felt like it was 2 points dropped because of the performance and the manner of it, and the subsequent results. Well, before and after that game of Leeds, they've got a few Tonkins, haven't they? Leicester sort of feel as though maybe missed opportunity there, but it is what it is. Tonight, I think I sort of think of myself as I was coming into the ground. It's a massive game. Don't get me wrong, 100%, and it's vital, but it's not absolutely do or die just yet. And I think Dean Smith will try and keep a sort of balanced view, as he often does, and a balanced feel to the players as well. Because let's say things did go wrong tonight, it's not the end of the world still. I don't think it's be built up that much, or as if Leicester players happen to lose tonight, they can't be totally decimated by it and not perform for the next 4 games, because they've got potential in the following 4 games to pick up points, I think, regardless of the opposition. But having said that, a win would be very,
Yes,
very welcome.
big game.
Of course it would.
Yeah, it's a big weekend, full stop, really, for sport in Leicester. There was a fantastic win for LCFC women here at King Power Stadium on Saturday. Mark Selby bids to win his 5th World Championship in the snooker this evening, so good luck to him as well, of course, the jester from Leicester. We're concentrating, though, tonight on the football here. We've got plenty to get through here on Matchday Live with the company of Matt, David and Ewan. We're going to look back firstly at the game against Leeds in the week, and obviously that vital equaliser from Jamie Vardy. Will that be the start of another one of his runs that he often goes on? Let's hope so. We'll hear from the man that made 2 vital saves right at the very end of that game as well. I sat down with Daniel Iversen at Seagrave this week, and to get us in the mood, we'll look at some classic goals scored against tonight's opponent. You, and obviously, you know, the weekend's results have helped Leicester. There's no denying that pretty much every single result, if you could have picked it, happened. So does it help, do you think, playing after the other teams, so you kind of know what is almost needed?
It's just been a perfect sort of weekend up till now, isn't it? As you say, West Ham losing, Wolves losing, Leeds, you know, getting hammered at Bournemouth. Forest, when I think they were 1-0 up for a long period at Brentford, then Brentford equalised, and then they went and scored the winning goal on 94 minutes. So, you know, Leicester have been given a few favours over the weekend. Now they have to go and take care of their business. You know, now it's down to them to do their talking on the pitch. I think for the first time, well, I wouldn't say for the first time this season. I remember, you know, towards the end of the first half of the first part of the season before the World Cup in flying form, and there were 2 good wins against Villa and Spurs. Now all of a sudden, after 1 point in 9 games, I would have taken 4 points, Dan. If it's offered me 4 points before Wolves, before the Wolves game, I'd have taken that just to stop the rot, to just try and get some confidence, try and get some momentum for the final run-in. I look at the game tonight. For me, I mean, it wouldn't be great. You know, it'd be fantastic. I just think in this position now, I think it's a must not lose. I don't think, and I know what Matty said there. There's games to come. Fulham away and Fulham are not in the best of forms. Liverpool at home, you just don't know what to expect these days. With Liverpool, they can be outstanding as they were when they went to Ellen Road. Newcastle away, it's going to be a tough game. You know, I think they've cemented a top 4 finish now, but it'll still be a tough place to go to. West Ham at home, where, you know, it could be, you know, a battle of 2 teams who need those points to stay up. I think I look at Wolves in 14, 37 points. I think they've probably just done enough. You know, Bournemouth have had an unbelievable run. They've won 7 of their last 12 games, Bournemouth. So I think they're fine. They're done and dusted. They're fine. So it's Wolves, West Ham, Leeds, Forest, Leicester. Tonight's opponents, Everton. I think Southampton are doomed. I think they've gone all already. But I just look at this game tonight, and I'd love to see the lads. I thought they started the game against Leeds really well on the front foot. Had some good opportunities in the final third. Had that fantastic goal disallowed for an offside from the Uri Tielemans. Didn't get the rewards that the start merited, to be fair. But to come back and to get that goal, and we're going to see the clips that Iversen, fantastic save at the death. You know, and big moments, seasons can turn on a big moment, in my opinion. And the Iversen save is unbelievable. But then the Bamford miss right at the end at the back post, where, for me, he's simply got to score. You know, half volley, yes, on his weaker foot, but a centre forward that's playing in the Premier League simply has to score. For me, we see it here. I think those were 2 massive moments for Leicester City. And just let's hope they can build on those 2 decent performances. 4 points, as I say, I would have taken that all night long before the Wolves game. I would love 3 points tonight. I really would.
Yeah, just on the results going for us as well. Like, Leicester can't just keep relying on other teams losing. There's going to come a point in the season where they have to get out this relegation zone by themselves, and if they win tonight and go above them teams, it's in Leicester's own hands then. You know, they'll be out the relegation zone. I know then it'll be up to Leicester's hands then to like stay out of it, you know, and then the other team's got to catch them. So, you know, if you look at the league table there, you know, 1 win, you know, takes us above Leeds. So and then you've got 3 teams below you who are trying to catch you. So you'd rather be in that position in front of people than, you know, lagging behind, hoping other teams are losing and Leicester having to win more games than they have to, you know, come the end of the season.
Just watching that clip there of Iversen's 2 saves, second save. I'm still sure Christensen's going to slice it into his own net. You know, just still waiting for it to happen. Yeah. He had one of those nights, to be fair, didn't he, where it could well have happened. But no, I think every player seems to be up for the challenge, which I think is really encouraging. I think a lot of the players have contributed in different ways. Iversen there when it counted. It was, you know, it was a collective effort against Wolves, wasn't it? I know Castagna got, you know, all the praise for scoring the goal, etc. But it was a group effort, and that's what Leicester needed. At times they've maybe been over reliant on 2, maybe 3 individuals to pull them through. At the moment, they get the feel that they're all in it together, which is very useful.
Yeah, let's get a reminder then of what happened on Tuesday evening up in West Yorkshire and that vital Jamie Vardy equaliser late on.
And are starting to make their way out into the cauldron of noise that Ellen Road is providing. But for Leicester, they are fresh from Saturday's success and a win against the Wolves. City taking to the field, looking for back-to-back wins, which would certainly ease relegation fears. It will be a right-footed corner. Everyone back in white shirts to defend the first set piece of tonight's game. Fast with a touch at the near post. Leeds got enough bodies around it. He's fallen to Tillemans. Oh, brilliant! Yuri Tillemans does it again! The magic man! Right-footed from the edge of the area. It is arrowed into the top left-hand corner. And those celebrations might be cut short. No goal. And then it's Harrison who's got the better of Christensen again, coming in from the right edge of the area. A ball in, a goal for Leeds. And it's been headed home by Luis Sinisterra after Jack Harrison worked his magic on the right-hand side, got beyond Christensen and left-footed from the right corner of the penalty area. He's just floated one towards the far post. He has conceded in all 5 Premier League games when he's come up against Leicester. Here's Iheanacho, room on the edge of the box. Meslier pushes it away. Daka! Oh, that come off the post. Was that a double save? Either way, Leicester denied 2 opportunities. Leeds could go 4 clear, but Iheanacho looking to halt that. He was fouled, but he's played on. He's found Maddison, who's away from his man, and then he's touched it over to Jamie Vardy, who's found the bottom corner, and Leicester City have got an equaliser. Maddison involved, Iheanacho involved, and just when you needed the man who has scored so many goals in his Leicester City career, he's on the spot. Jack Harrison swinging the ball in. Oh, Iversen, brilliant save, and eventually Christensen got it off the line, but it took 2 attempts. And then Fass clears from the resulting cross. It's still not out. Ayling on the edge of the box. And there's still plenty forward. It's Aronson. It's another save. Iversen this time with his legs low down at the near post.
Yeah, he just assessing that, the Victor Christensen. It was actually good that he doesn't swing the first time. He sort of takes a minute to compose himself, doesn't he, or a second.
Fair play to him to compose himself, but some players there just hack at it, don't they? They just want to clear the ball as quick as possible, but he's composed himself and, you know, managed to clear it in the end. But yeah.
Not if someone had nicked in between that moment of hesitation, someone pops it over the line, but all's well that ends well-ish.
Yeah, big moments these, Ewan, weren't they, right at the very end?
Oh, they were. I mean, it was vital that the lads did, got something from that game. As I say, I thought it was a really positive start, but then it was a sloppy goal to give away. You know, no one gets close enough to Jack Harris. I mean, it's a great ball into the far post, and I think whether Castagna sort of fell asleep. He did, to be fair, never opened his body out, so you could see the man putting the ball in, and the man that he was supposed to be picking up. I mean, could have lost it, Dan. That's the thing. We've seen the chances there at the end for Leeds too. I mean, the first save's an unbelievable save from Daniel Iversen. Fantastic save. I thought it was a solid, good away point, which added to the 3 that the lads got against Wolves.
Yeah, solid point for me. But them last 10 minutes for me just felt like both teams. It was like the Premier League life depended on it. Where both teams are going for, both teams trying to win it, and in the end, I know it was a draw, but you know it could have gone either way with the chances for Bamford and obviously the 2 saves by Daniel in goal, but Avard's got his disallowed goal. Then Daka had the chance where he was just offside as well. But this is you do or die. In the Premier League, they're both fighting for their lives, and both teams wanted to win the game, and you could see the intent in them last 10 minutes.
I thought Leicester played relatively well. The better all-round footballing team of the two on the night, but it's the end result that matters, and that's where Leicester are at the moment as well. They're very unlikely to go and dominate for 90 minutes, but they've got to try and weather some periods a little bit better perhaps than they have done generally over the season, certainly. But I thought I understood it a bit, because the goal getting rubbed out, Tielemans' goal, it worked to Leeds' benefit, didn't it? And it was sort of deflated Leicester a little bit, and they sort of adjust with that. But the goal they conceded, I mean, you just mentioned there Castagna, and I thought one or two other people as well were accountable for it. It was highly avoidable, the ease with which it was conceded, and then to get themselves back in it, deservedly so, more than deservedly so, but then a little bit of, I don't know, nervousness, or was it sloppiness?
On both sides.
Leeds had that from the start, I thought. Although, once they got themselves back into the game, they were tigerish, weren't they? They were just, like Dave says, they were literally, their lives depended on it. It wasn't too much quality. Leicester provided the quality more often than not, but Leeds at the end, there, when it really matters, you could say Leicester put their bodies on the line, etc., but they were fortunate they didn't concede, and it would have been galling, to say the least, wouldn't it, if they had and not got anything out of the game when they deserved to. So they need to be really strong mentally and keep as tight a ship as possible. They can't afford any little casual slip-ups, or instances where they go, oh yeah, I should have done a bit better there, I'll do better next time. There isn't no next time, probably. They've got to be ruthless and as efficient as they can be.
And just Avard's goal as well, direct running in behind. As a striker, you want them one-touch finishes as well. Strikers going through one-on-one, having a lot of touches tend to change the mind most times, but when it's on a plate like that from Maddison for a first time finish, that's when I think Vard's at his best. And Leicester need a player now to go on the run of form and hit a few goals in these last 5 games, and they'll love it no more to be more than Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, hopefully it will be Jamie Vardy in these games, and hopefully tonight as well. He was one of the heroes on Tuesday. The other one was, of course, Daniel Iversen, as we've been speaking about some vital saves towards the end of that game at Ellen Road. And I sat down with him afterwards at Seagrave this week to preview this huge clash with Everton.
It's just hit me, it's not a save, is it? Everyone says it's a good save and it's just hit me in the face. Disappointed it's not been really that season, but now we just have to stay focused and look at the Everton game now.
Daniel, what's the mood like being in the camp following obviously the win against Wolves and then that draw away at Leeds? Things are starting to look a little bit more positive.
Yeah, it's looked positive, I think. We got some good results really. Leeds game, of course, we want to win that one. But in the end, he could also have scored 2 goals really. So of course we're disappointed we don't get the 3 points. But in the end, I think draw was fair for both teams.
It was vital to get the equaliser when Leicester did in that game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I thought that we got the first goal there. I thought, yes, bang on now. And it was offside and he scored a goal, and it was like, but I think we still got the trust we can go back into the game, and we did. We can also score 2 more goals. So yeah, I think mood is good in the camp after that performance.
Forwards always get to talk about their goals, don't they? Goalkeepers rarely about their saves. Some vital stops at the end of that game away at Leeds. Let's start with the one from the header that just hit you.
It's just hit me, it's not a save, is it? Everyone says it's a good save and it's just hit me in the face. It's just like be in the right position and just hit my head, and just lucky Victor just boom it away. So yeah. It's a little bit of luck sometimes you need, and we need that right now in our position.
The second one certainly wasn't lucky, if that first one was a little bit fortunate. The second one, obviously, a really good save, and it came so quickly after the one that did hit you as well. So mentally, how difficult is it staying strong in those moments?
I think it's quite easy to stay focused in them games where something happens all the time. It's more difficult when we are in position maybe 80 minutes and the last minute he got a chance. That is more difficult for a keeper to get focus. So when something happens like that all the time, it's more easier to get focus really. So yeah, it's not a problem.
Nice when you make those saves in those big moments, because as you said, forwards always sort of get the headlines, don't they, really?
Yeah, it is. It's always good. It's my job. It's what I get paid for here. Trying to save some points for the club, and yeah, just trying to do my best every game.
Yeah, these huge games coming thick and fast. How big is that Everton one on Monday evening?
Yeah, it's a huge game, but like I don't think we have to think about how big game it is. Just have to go out and play our game, and I think the result will come.
I guess there's confidence in the group that if you play the way you have done in these last few weeks, even away at Manchester City, that you'll hopefully that the result will take care of itself.
Yeah, of course that was a tough game really, but I think we do a really good second half. We can also get 2 goals if we was a little bit lucky. So yeah, I think we just have to keep playing really good, and 100% sure the result will come.
That was Daniel Iversen there speaking ahead of this game with Everton. Some of the headline team news is his compatriot Victor Christiansen drops out. Luke Thomas comes in. We knew Kelechi Iheanacho wouldn't feature through injury, obviously having helped to set up that equaliser. Fantastic work from Kelechi. He drops out, of course. Jamie Vardy, the man who got that goal, comes back in. So a bit of a change side, Matt, but one that you think can comfortably have enough, hopefully, against Everton. Not comfortably, but you think on paper they certainly do.
They've got the capabilities, without a doubt. I think that team's about right, isn't it? You know, obviously Dean Smith sees things at close hand, but I think there won't be too many grumbles from too many supporters or quarters there. You're looking at the team. Christiansen had a difficult time, not just at Leeds. I don't think he started well, and you know, I don't know, I wouldn't say struggled necessarily, but been a little bit off the pace at times. Luke Thomas coming in, big occasion for him. But he's relatively well experienced, Luke, isn't he, even at his tender age. So for me, that's pretty much the team I would pick. I always like to see Maddison central, ideally, but options are limited, aren't they, in that wide right position there. Tete again sort of flattered to deceive a little bit. So his hands are tied a little bit, Dean Smith. But Maddison, you know, I'm sure Nudes will mention it. He has done numerous times. He comes off there and comes centrally into positions, and the onus is on Castagna to get forward and the outside and dovetail is, I believe, is the word, isn't it? I don't like that phrase. It sounds a bit cheesy, but I'm going to use it anyway. But yeah, they work well together like that, and also when Maddison comes off that right hand side, he's difficult to pick up because players are too busy having a look around what's going on. And he's got to be passed on. Information's got to be good from Everton, and they're struggling a bit defensively, quite frankly, aren't they? So possibilities are there.
Talking about Maddison coming inside, he did it at Goodison Park.
Yeah,
he? Exactly. He played on the right hand side there. You come inside, you know, Castagna, whoever played on the right that time, was just bombing on, and Everton couldn't handle it. And most of the attacks came from down there as well. And you know, we've seen the goals from the last fixture on me here, and that's Harvey Barnes' goal, you know, coming in from his left foot. Great strike again. Comfortably won that game in the end. You know, Everton didn't turn up, and they'll be looking for a positive result again. Hopefully the same score line. Try and get an early goal, because if Everton concede, they don't score many goals. So it's going to be a tough night all round if Leicester get the early goal.
That was one of few clean sheets, you, and I think the one at West Ham a couple of weeks after that was the last one Leicester have got in the league, and that obviously is concerning. It is an issue. How vital would that be tonight? If they can keep a clean sheet, obviously get a goal, that means the 3 points, doesn't it? But staying solid is vital again this evening.
It is. I mean, was it no clean sheet in 18 Premier League games now, Dan? You know, that states quite clearly why Leicester are in the predicament that they're in. And let's not make a mistake. Everton are in serious trouble. Yeah, they brought Sean Dyche in. He had an initial sort of impact when 2 of his opening 3 games had that great win against Arsenal at Goodison Park. But since then, they've won 1 in 10. So they're not in the best of form. They haven't been great away from home. They've only got 1 away win all season. They haven't scored in 9 of their last 12 away Premier League games. And their next couple of games, they go to Brighton after this game tonight. Now, Brighton have been outstanding. They've got 16 points from their last 7 home games. We saw what they're capable of at the weekend when they put 6 past Wolves. And then they welcome Man City to Goodison. Man City chasing the title. They have to go to Wolves away, which won't be easy. And they finish off with Bournemouth. So this is a massive. I think the first goal is vital. I mean, since he's been there, Sean Dyche, they've won 3. They've won the 3 by 1-0. I think in the games where, since he's been there, when they've gone ahead, they've sort of dug in and they've defended and they've kept clean sheets. And we saw what happened to them against Newcastle last week, where they conceded early, maybe when they've got to start chasing the game, gaps open up and they get punished. If Leicester can get this first goal tonight, I mean, that would be vital, absolute vital to a Leicester win, I think.
Yeah, on the Newcastle game, the Everton game as well, I watched it the first half an hour. Everton were really on top of Newcastle, pressing them, concede the goal, and they just capitulated, just lost it all, conceded 4 goals, got a goal from a corner straight from which no one expected them to score. But we can't kid ourselves, both teams are down in the dumps for a reason at the minute. They haven't won enough Premier League games, and results-wise and performance-wise haven't been good enough, and that's why they're both struggling. And there's no better way now to beat a team around you, because the incentive's there to go above them in the league as well, or get more points ahead of them. The chance to go 4 points ahead of Everton tonight, and that's 2 games, and take them off, it'll be 36 games with 2 games to go with 4 points ahead. So it's going to be a horrible, nervy game. For the fans.
That's the incentive right there. Yeah. That table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You just look at it. You can go above Leeds, and then you got the Forest, you got Leeds, you got Everton, you got Southampton, all below them. And then when you start seeing that, the confidence builds. And as you said, the 2 pre results have been positive. 4 points from 6. Imagine getting 7 from 10. The fans will be going home happy, but you just don't know in these kind of games. These are the games where you want the players to show a bit of passion and determination, and this is where you see the players that want to play for Leicester. In a relegation battle game like this.
Yeah, Leicester really got to grab the nettle, haven't they? Tonight of all nights. I know I said it's not the be-all and end-all, but it's not far off. But that league table there could have looked very different quite easily.
Yeah.
Say Bamford sticks that one away if he was onside at the end at Ellen Road last week.
Forest hold on.
Exactly, against Brentford. Yeah, there's just such small margin for error there. All of a sudden, they're both 4 points ahead of Leicester. So regardless of how Leicester get on tonight, they're still in the relegation zone. So
that isn't the case.
That's a big boost psychologically.
Yeah. Obviously both these teams, Everton and Leicester, have changed their manager this season. Let's hear from the man in the home dugout this evening. Dean Smith was asked how he copes with the pressure on big nights like this.
Just looking ahead to Everton, it just feels, especially after the midweek results, like a huge game. I wonder how you handle that pressure with the squad and for yourself going into it.
Well, pretty much the same as we handled the Leeds game. It's a big game for both teams. With the positions that we're both in the league, and with games running out, obviously. This time we'll have home advantage, and we want to use that to our best advantage as we can.
Jamie Vardy was back on the score sheet against Leeds. I imagine, like you said about the King Power and the advantage, be an atmosphere he'll thrive off of. What's he been like since you've arrived?
Yeah, no, he's been really good. I think I said from the first moment he's trained really well, got a really good appetite for the game, a great understanding of the game as well. He's engaged in meetings we've had, and really pleased to see him get his first goal for a while. As I said after the game on Tuesday night, he won the penalty against Wolves. Didn't get much of a look in against Man City, but after watching Man City against Arsenal, 3-1 wasn't a bad result there now, was it? So, he's done really well, to be fair, and I'm pleased he scored.
With 5 games left, do you start thinking about a target of points you need? And if so, can you share?
Yeah, no, still no target of points, because it all changes, after the number of games that are being played. Forest won the other night, so, does that target suddenly change because one team wins? We can't get involved in that. We've just got to concentrate on the games that we've got to play, and that's 15 points to play for.
Because of last night's results and results earlier this week, it meant that Leicester have fallen back into the relegation zone. How much attention can you and the players pay to the table at the moment, or is it better to ignore it and focus on what's happening internally?
I think all you can focus on is your own performances. We're not in control of anything that goes on away from here. I've said that all along. We've got 4 points from our first 3 games. 4 points from Wolves and Leicester is not a bad return. But we'll be going all out to get a win against Everton. And then Fulham after that. And that's all we can control, really. And, look at the table, after that and see where we're at.
There's going to be a lot of focus and I guess pressure around from the fans and the media and everyone ahead of a Monday night because of where the two clubs are going to be in the table. Is that a good thing for the players maybe to feel a little bit of that pressure, or would you prefer to kind of take that off of them a little bit? I just wonder how you see that from your standpoint.
I don't think you can ever take the pressure fully off them because, they watch football, they see the games, they watch the scores, they'll see the table. So you can't take that pressure away from them because they know. But what we can do is make it clear with our plan and what we're trying to do. And how we're trying to do it. And I think if you do that, they can go in pretty calm and relaxed. But having that fire to go and win football games, which is the most important thing.
That was Dean Smith there speaking ahead of this huge game at King Power Stadium against Everton this evening. He obviously speaks very well, doesn't he, Dean Smith? And you imagine he's a really good motivator in that dressing room.
I think the whole team is, Dan. Craig Shakespeare knows the football club inside out. And I've spoken to you about Dean's time here at Norwich. It was hard, it was tough, but Norwich's squad was nowhere near good enough to stay in the Premier League last season. It doesn't matter who was in charge. He had an initial reaction when he first came to the football club, to get 5 points from his first 3 games. So, there was a reaction there. And, he's got John Terry. You'd hope that John's experience in defensive situations will help improve Leicester's defensive record. And he knows. We all know how big this game is tonight. And home form hasn't been great. Before Wolves, we lost 4 on the spin. Leicester haven't won back-to-back games at the King Power this season. That's unbelievable. For a team that's got the talent that Leicester have to not win back-to-back games. What a time to do it. If you're going to do it now. With 5 games to go against a team that are just below you. And if you look at them, I'm looking at the fixtures in front of me here. If Leicester can get 3 points tonight, go above Forest and the West Ham's next 2 games against Manchester clubs, United and City. Leeds have got Man City and Newcastle, 2 massively tough games for them. Forest, okay, they play Southampton at home, then they go to Chelsea. I don't think you can sort of stress enough how important a win would be for Leicester City. 7 points from 3 games after a good second half performance at the Etihad. I think we go into the last 4 games with a little bit more confidence that the club can stay up.
Yeah, and just on the home form as well, it's that pressure in having to win a home games in it, and sometimes the crowd getting on your back. Sometimes it's easy just to go away from home and play a natural game with no pressure on you. But as you said before, I haven't won back-to-back league games at the King Power. It's pretty bad in it, really. There's not many teams who haven't probably done that all season. But as again, it's a home game. This is where you need your fans to get behind you and urge you on, and try and push over the line to get the 3 points, because if you're going to get points, it's the home games where you need to get them from.
Yeah, and I get the feel that Dean Smith's creating the right sort of atmosphere as well. It's absolutely buzzing outside the stadium tonight. There's a lot of nervousness, there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of excitement as well as to what could happen. But a lot of, externally, the pressure's descending upon the Leicester players, and he's got to try and manage that, as do the players. The way he just spoke there, though, he's pretty calm, pretty pragmatic. He hasn't said it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
He's putting there. It's a big game, and games are becoming less and less. But naturally the pressure intensifies, but he's just taking it for what it is and trying to sort of lighten the load, I think, for the players. And to me, he gives the impression what he says, I believe what he says as well. And I think as players you would do that. Sometimes you're thinking...
Seems very genuine.
Yeah, 100% he does. And, as is Craig Shakespeare there, and good, honest individual, good character, etc. And that comes across, and I think it makes a difference when the players as a group 100% trust their manager rather than having reservations about what he's saying. Is he saying that for effect, etc., as can be the case sometimes. But listen, we're saying all this, we've got to go out there and perform.
And there's pressure on, of course, both teams this evening. Everton coming into the game also in the relegation zone. Let's hear from a man that follows them week in, week out then, Joe Thomas from the Liverpool Echo, as well as their manager, Sean Dyche. Everton made the switch from the inexperience of Frank Lampard to the proven Premier League know-how of Sean Dyche back at the end of January. The change, though, hasn't yielded the turnaround in fortunes that the fans were hoping to see at Goodison Park. Thursday's damaging 4-1 loss at home to Newcastle means that a Leicester win tonight would send the Foxes 4 clear of the Toffees.
It wasn't just the result, but it was the manner in which Everton collapsed, which is particularly problematic. It really did kind of offer worrying signs about what the next 5 weeks might, or 5 games might hold in store. Everton have an opportunity to arrest that on Monday against Leicester. There wouldn't be any better way of recovering from the disappointment of recent games than getting an important 3 points away from home against a relegation rival and probably moving out the relegation zone with that. Feels like it's probably the last chance Everton will have to keep matters in their own hand, and as a result of that, it really is critical to them.
No, I'm not confident of that at all. The confidence is built, but it's built from somewhere. It's built from performances. You can't guarantee. You can't just go, oh, they're going to be confident. It's built. So it's built on the training ground. It's built from performances. It's built in each other, and it's a constant process. That's how teams turn things around. It's part of football. It's part of life. When freedom comes from a change, they bring a new manager in, which was me, and we play Arsenal. We win, and everyone thinks it's all solved. And if you remember, I said, no, it's one step. So it's a good step, but it's one step. That's all I said. So I know it's not all solved. There's problems here that are deeper than that with this team. It's going to take time, but we've been trying to fast track it, and we've made some strides. But now we've got 5 big games to make sure that we get the job done.
Naturally, for teams near the bottom of the table, Everton have had issues at both ends of the pitch, particularly going forward. So much so, in fact, that the Toffees have scored the least amount of goals out of any team in the Football League.
Goal scoring has mainly been the problem. There have been issues at both ends, but there have been times throughout the season, particularly in Dyche's early days, where Everton were hard to beat. There was a degree of resilience. But Everton, particularly when Dominic Calvert-Lewin hasn't been available, and he hasn't been available for a lot of this season, have really lacked a focal point up front. They've lacked the clinical edge. And as a result of that, they've just really struggled to win games. They've been, for most of the season, they've been reasonably good at staying in games for an hour, but they're not creating enough chances and then taking them to win games. And then probably the second problem after scoring goals is lack of strength and depth. It's quite a fragile and quite a small squad.
Thanks to Joe Thomas there from the Liverpool Echo. Everton themselves obviously have made changes from their last game, which is probably no surprise really, considering what happened in that home game with Newcastle. Do you agree with what Joe had to say?
100%. I said it before in the Newcastle game. Everton looked really strong for the first 30 minutes until Callum Wilson scored, and then they just lose all the confidence, and then because they don't score a lot of goals, they're never going to get back into the game. So they tend to push a lot of players forward trying to get it, and they just leave it open wide at the back. So as you say, I think Everton will come out strong again. They'll press from the front, and if they don't get that first goal, then they do really struggle. And when you've got Calvert-Lewin, who's been out for most of the season, hasn't really played 5 games this season started, they're always going to struggle. And same for Leicester. If you haven't got that 20-goal striker, I know Leicester have one in Vardy, but he's been in and out of the team as well. But you see, if a team don't have that striker up top who's scoring the goals and getting your points, then they're going to be down the bottom of the league like these two sides are.
Those eagle-eyed viewers as well, by the way, will have noticed that Matt Elliott is no longer in the studio. He's on co-commentary duty this evening, so he's headed out to the gantry to get ready for that. So it's just the two of you, Ewan, for now as we build up to kick off, which obviously is just around the corner. And talking about it almost takes it away a little bit, but the more you think about it, the nerves start coming in. That's us talking, that's supporters. What are the players thinking right now, do you think?
I mean, people say, can you compare the pressure there's not many lads still at the football club. I think there's only Jamie Vardy who won the Premier League with Leicester that's still there. I mean, if you were to ask Jamie Vardy, compare the pressure of the final few games of the title-winning season to the pressure that he and the players feel now in a relegation fight. There's no comparison to that. Where when you're in a scrap, when you're in a battle, when you're fighting for your Premier League status, for your Premier League lives, the pressure is twice as bad. I've been in both. I've been in a title-winning situation where you just couldn't wait for the games to come, because obviously if you're top of the league, it means you're doing something right. As I said, the pressure and the responsibility of taking a team down, being relegated, it's horrendous, and it's something that stays with you for a long time. But I mean, if you look at Everton's away form, I said, yeah, they've won once away this season. They've won 2 of their last 33 away games in the Premier League. That tells you something. That tells you that this team doesn't travel too good. I think it's a great opportunity. If Leicester can start as they did that first 10, 15 minutes up at Ellen Road on the front foot, getting people forward, creating opportunities, I think this Everton team can be seriously got at.
Yeah, and just on the relegation battle as well, Vards has had it before as well in the Great Escape season as well, where he come to light towards the end of the season and kept the team up basically single-handedly with the goals that he scored. And obviously then went and won the Premier League, which is all about confidence, and you want to play every game, the excitement of playing. When you're down in the dumps now, it's just, you still get the excitement of playing in the game, but it's more nervousness that creeps in, and the team starts like dropping 5-10 yards because they're scared to concede a goal and stuff like that. But I think from the last 2 previous games where they've gone a goal behind, usually Leicester will go on and lose the game, but they've got that fighting spirit now where they've got back into the game against Wolves, 1-0 down, 1-2-1. Obviously Leeds 1-0 down, could have easily won the game 2-1 again, but we got a point out of it. So I think that's where Everton and Leicester are different. If Everton go 1-0 down, they'll lose. If Leicester go 1-0 down, they've got that fighting spirit to come back into the game, which we've seen in the last 2 games.
Does that surprise you, given that Sean Dyche went in January? They made that change fairly early, didn't they? That he's had time, and it's maybe not worked as most people probably thought that it would.
Yeah, no, we had that first game against Arsenal, didn't he? We beat Arsenal 1-0 at Goodison, first game in charge, and the fans think, we're staying up, but since then it's not been too rosy. We've had a lot of defeats, and and they're down there for a reason. And just looking at Everton's team, like you look at Pickford, obviously got relegated with Sunderland. Keane, Tarkowski got relegated with Burnley. Godfrey relegated with Norwich. So it's like they got players there. I know they got players, but they've all had relegations. And when you got that in your team, it's like a mindset in it that stays in your mind that you've been relegated. So it doesn't bode well. Another one's Dwight McNeil as well, relegated with Burnley. So they got players who've been relegated before, where Leicester haven't. So that might just bode in their favour.
Nice bit of negativity there against Everton. Let's stick with that theme then and take a look at some goals scored by Leicester players against Everton.
There's a tendency to hold and look and let the defence come back and cover. Here's John Samuels. That's a good shot! John Samuels, a really cracking shot from a difficult angle. Sheer pace beat the goalkeeper.
Low. His influence on the game is growing all the while. Galloway with a cross. Draper! Goal for Leicester City! Galloway supplied this low cross, and Draper drove it past Neville Southall.
To barge his way through, and Elliott is there, and Leicester are level. Matt Elliott pushed forward today into an emergency striking role. He has a lot to thank Zagorakis for.
Here's Lennon. Impey out on the right, 2 in the box. What a goal! Akinbaye has certainly made up for his earlier error with a brilliant finish. Tremendous piece of finishing by the club's record signing at the end of a sweeping and very sweet Leicester City move.
In from Guppy. Attacked by Marcus Bent! How crucial could that be? Just seconds remaining. Marcus Bent equalises his 9th Leicester goal.
Okazaki. Mahrez, brilliant. And in! King on coronation night. Nothing will stand in Leicester's way. The man who's made the whole journey.
Now Ricardo, this time on the left-hand side. Iheanacho, good ball, finds Ricardo. Ricardo continues his run. Vardy's gone to the back post. Ricardo with the feint. Ricardo has scored! Brilliant equaliser from the Portugal international. And he's made it himself.
There's a mistake and Vardy is sent clear left of the 18-yard area. Jamie Vardy has given Leicester City the lead at Goodison Park and scores his first goal of 2019. There's a somersault to celebrate with the travelling Blue Army, who are jubilant over on the far side of the ground.
Did you know he had that in him? Celebration like that?
Yeah, he's very eccentric, Vards, and he'll come out with anything. Great finish as well on his left foot. Yeah. Pretty similar to the West Brom goal when we beat them 3-2 down at their stadium. Running up defender, left foot, bottom corner. But yeah, you want to see more of that, don't you? You want to see more of Vards scoring goals and getting Leicester out this relegation battle.
Yep, Jamie Vardy is back in the Leicester starting 11 today. Of course, he got that vital equaliser in midweek against Leeds, and he starts tonight because there's no Kelechi Iheanacho through injury. This is the Leicester team then. Daniel Iversen in goal, Luke Thomas, Wout Faes, Kaglar Soyuncu and Timothy Castagna. Then it's Ndidi, Samari and Tielemans in midfield with Barnes and Maddison either side of Jamie Vardy. And from a travelling Everton point of view, they have Jordan Pickford in goal, of course, Mikolenko, Tarkowski, Keane and Coleman across the back four with Gay, Decore, Garner in the midfield, McNeil and Iwobi supporting Calvert-Lewin. So two very similar systems, it looks like, coming up against each other. Matt Elliott has said he scored 2 that day, that we saw one of the goals. He's got 2 that day. You scored against Everton, didn't make the cut, did it?
No, I'd speak to the media team inside there, won't we? But yeah, no, I've been to Goodison and I've scored, so Matty's not the only one. Sure, you scored there as well, haven't you, mate?
I did score at Filbert Street against my hero Neville Southall.
I
think it was 2-2. We obviously saw Mark Draper's goal. I think it was first goal in the clip. But now they didn't show my header from maybe a yard out.
Yeah. Maybe that was why, Ewan.
They're the best ones, Ewan. They're the best ones.
Probably.
Yeah. Final thoughts from you both quickly then, Ewan. We've already spoken about the magnitude of the game, how the players will be handling that. Both sets of players, I guess that helps that they're both feeling the pressure.
Yeah, both in tough situations. Everton stayed up with a win against Palace, their penultimate game of last season. They've been in this situation before. We've said it many times, Dan. Leicester are too good. Leicester have got too much quality to get relegated to the Championship. Tonight's the night to go and prove all those things for me.
Yeah, and just being in that relegation fight, you want to see that passion, desire, don't you, from the Leicester team. They got a great chance, the incentive to go 4 points clear of Everton, go above Leeds and Notts Forest as well. So for me, that's all you need to know. Where you can finish in the league table, go above them, and have it in your hands rather than relying on the other results.
Thank you very much to two former fan favourites here at Leicester, Ewan Roberts and David Nugent, for your company as we've been building up to kick-off here on Matchday Live. We're about 10 minutes away now from it, so we can hand you over to our commentary team of John Dunn and not a fan favourite, Matt Elliott as well.
Because memories never fade, no matter how long. We'll still remember the moments of excitement and the impressions of Thailand. Amazing Thailand, now even more amazing.
Lamiet is the belief that perfection lies within the details, where the finest ingredients deserve the finest craftsmanship. In every pursuit of perfection, there is passion and perseverance, where attention to detail inspires a masterpiece that's balanced and in harmony. This is the Lamiet philosophy, brewed into every drop of Chang beer. This is the taste of Thai perfection. Chang beer. We brew friendship.
Good evening from King Power Stadium on a stunning summer's evening. But there is an evening ahead of nerves of tension, of apprehension as Leicester welcome Everton for a Premier League relegation six-pointer in front of an expectant crowd here on Filbert Way as the season's end is upon us and each game becoming bigger than the last. But for the loser of this match, things would start to look grim. Everton start the day second bottom of the Premier League table. Leicester 1 place and 1 point above. A draw would take the Foxes out of the drop zone, but a maximum points haul would make the table look so much better this evening with 4 games remaining. Well, King Power Stadium is absolutely rocking as we head towards kick-off. It's a night that will be full of nerves, full of tension. What a better man to spend it with than Matt Elliott. Matt, how are your nerves this evening?
More excitement than anything. That's just the players, I suppose, really feel the tension. I'm not sure a fair percentage of the supporters do as well. Come to that, but at the same time, the players they're used to big occasions. Okay, maybe not week in, week out as important as this tonight, but it's always, you know, a big time environment in a Premier League game, isn't it? And then they become accustomed to revelling in this atmosphere. Certainly, you would hope so, but certainly the vast majority of them. And they've got to be stand-up big counter tonight. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of focus, speculation, whatever you want to call it, on this fixture tonight, how important it is. Who deals with that pressure? Which manager can make his players feel as calm as possible and go out there and perform their natural game to the best of their abilities? I think if both teams do that, Leicester come out on top, but we all know football's not quite that straightforward.
The results over the weekend couldn't have gone much better for Leicester. It almost feels like things are in their hands. Certainly tonight against one of their relegation rivals who come into the game, and it was spoke about pre-match. Everton's form absolutely shocking. Can't score, keep conceding, can't win a game. In every match, I think I said to you, and Tag's first goal so important, but tonight just feels even more important.
Yeah, I think Leicester have got the resolve, as they showed against Leeds, to react if they go down in the game. I think probably Everton slightly less so. I don't know, they might contest that, Everton players and supporters, but yes, of course, that first goal is huge, isn't it? I mean, tonight, you rightly said, the King Power's absolutely jumping at the moment. The montage seems to be on triple volume. He's played week in, week out. It still has a really stirring effect on everyone. And the supporters are up for it. I can't help but see that the players won't be up for it. And yeah, looking forward to a really dramatic and entertaining evening, if not necessarily of the highest quality, but that's by the by at the moment. It's vital. So much riding on this, but I've got some nice positive vibes at the moment, John.
Well, to paint that picture, King Power Stadium rocking, we have the honesty flags that you will have read about on the website. They are flying high, flying with passion. And there is a large banner that's been opened up over at the far left corner of the Kop end. Up for the fight is the phrase, a clenched fist. The blue flag, royal blue of Leicester, the white letters and the white fist, trying to portray that message to the players to fight for everything and what is a crucial Premier League evening. King Power Stadium has hosted a Premier League trophy lift, a great escape, some magical European nights, and was part of the route to the historic FA Cup win. But there haven't been too many games bigger than this one, as Leicester host Everton, just one place and 1 point away from 18th place City, sit the Toffees. The win here against Wolves breathed new life into the Foxes season, but there is still work to be done by Dean Smith's side. Leicester City have spent the last decade always rising to the biggest of occasions. Tonight, the demands are just the same. King Power Stadium bouncing with noise, flags waving, scarves being swung around the heads of the Blue Army as the two sides line up in front of us. For Leicester, 2 games unbeaten, the win here against Wolves, the draw, 6th night to go against Leeds. 3 changes to Dean Smith's 11. Kelechi Iheanacho ruled out due to injury. Victor Christiansen and Tete move into the bench. It means a return for Jamie Vardy, a goal-scoring substitute at Leeds. Also in the 11, Luke Thomas and Wilfred Ndidi as Iversen lines up in goal. Castagna, Fass, Soyuncu and Thomas are the Leicester back four, and Ndidi will be alongside Samori and Tillemans in midfield, with Maddison, Vardy and Barnes providing the attacking threat for the team in royal blue. Everton also last in action last Tuesday night. It was a night to forget at Goodison Park, a 4-1 home defeat to Fulham. 2 changes, Ben Godfrey is out, Amadou Onana moves to the bench after a 4-game injury absence. Captain Seamus Coleman returns and James Garner is in the Everton midfield. Pickford, the Everton goalkeeper, a defence of Coleman, Keane, Tarkowski and Mikolenko. Decore, Gay and Garner in midfield, with Iwobi and McNeil either side of Calvert-Lewin in the Everton attack. King Power Stadium celebrating its 20th season. And there haven't been too many better atmospheres than this, Matt. The noise is certainly coming through. The scarves and the flags have been waved, and the Leicester players will certainly be back this evening.
Yeah, the atmosphere's improved generally over last couple of home games, really. I think the intensity and the reality of the situation has kicked in, and supporters have realised that they need to bring their game to a higher level, possibly, similarly to the players. They've done that of late. Tonight, coming up to the ground 2 hours before kick-off, there was an extra buzz. Yes, the sun was out, it was a bank holiday, there was extra ingredients in the mix, but people have been waiting all week for this, especially on the back of results going Leicester's way. There's even more enthusiasm and positivity and hope for the game tonight.
We can hear the Leicester City theme, When You're Smiling, ringing around. That will be the last blast of the PA before we get underway. Teams will switch ends. Leicester will kick towards the Kop in the first half in all royal blue. Everton in pink shirts, grey shorts. And the demand from the crowd is clear in their noise as Daniel Iversen trots towards the goal to our left-hand side. Iconic images on the big screens, promotions, European nights, FA Cup win.